And with that, hello. Welcome to today's stream. Currently here in Mediera, and it's busy, blimey. Now, I'm pretty sure not everyone is flying along to Horta, but we shall see. So, Mark, hello, how are you doing? Then we have Goatfriend here, Dr. Fred, moin, Neitch, hello, and Luke Port Lewis. And on YouTube, I'd like to welcome Saran, hello to you. Lord Glorious, hello. And Carlos Mediera. Yeah, Mediera, exactly. Did I write something wrong in the title? I hope not. Oh, Mediera, lol. Okay, yeah, I get it. Typo there. Well, I can change it at least here in Mediera. On Twitch at least. There we go. Okay, thanks guys. So with me here in chat, Brennelt, or in Discord voice, Brennelt and Jeremiah.
Good evening.
Good evening from me.
Good evening. So yeah, another group flight, and this idea came from one of my moderators, Bruno, because he does live in Portugal, and he did a flight himself yesterday to Horta, and so Lima Papa Hotel Romeo, and it's a beautiful approach. Unfortunately, weather is somewhat marginal, but nevertheless, we will try the approach because there's a topic that I can connect with it, and I've actually just published a little tutorial video about radius to fix RF sections on the approach or departures. Lots of questions came in over the last couple of streams, and I guess it has to do with a little discussion on the PMGG forums, because it is obviously getting closer and closer to that 777 release, and well, hype being created as always, and so we'll wait for the release. And then there was a question regarding the radius to fix function, and you know, a lot of people say, who cares about that, right? You know, what do I care? Well, it is actually something that even the Flyby Wire mod has, and that's a free mod. And there's so many arrivals and departures these days that use radius to fix parts on the RNF arrival or the departure route. It's normal procedure, and it's just somewhat arrogant to again bring out an updated aircraft without having that function. It just shows they don't really care much about you know, accuracy and updating their FMS standards, and yeah, so I can understand, you know, hype being created regarding glowing brake discs. Although I have to admit, I've never seen glowing brake discs unless an aircraft did a RTO with max takeoff weight. But oh yeah, they showed some nice pictures with that. And what else did we see? Pictures, I don't know, with some shiny surface of something. But yeah, there's people that do care more about system depth. And again, being disappointed that they're not improving on that area at all. Anyways, enough rage. Let's get this this thing going here. And Dave, hello to you as well. Giftsack, hey. Wonder why we're not in the PMG right now. Yeah, well, if you watch that video, the good thing is about PMG 737 is that I could use that as a negative demonstration. What happens if you don't have radius to fix in the FMS? So it's actually helped me make that video. So you know, all good.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives.
We'll go through the flight plan in a minute. Let me just get the GSX working. Request. Oh, fuel truck is in position already. Really? What? Oh, and there's catering coming. Nice. Okay. V-Pilot, hello to you. And V-Pilot, yeah, thanks for your connection or your message. Yeah, I'd love to. I enjoy showcasing new airports. Absolutely, yeah. So, let's go and have a look here at the flight plan. And Sarf, hello to you. How are you? So we've got planned 150 passengers, 3.4 tons of cargo. That's quite a lot actually, and planned fuel around about 8.1. So let me just round that up a little bit. 8.1. There we go. And then load the aircraft. We'll do real time. Yeah, Pod, they are. Hello, Pod. How are you? Nice to see you. Avenger, good evening. Well, whatever you like. We're currently in a beautiful tap livery here. Catering is ongoing. So with that being done, let's have a look quickly at the weather. So right now, we do want to have the approach 10, which we will do. Even though the weather right now would speak more for runway 28, but the forecast says that temporary 15 to 21 UTC, we can get with the wind from 180, 15 gust 25 with some spicy weather. Broken 400. I would suggest taking some extra fuel, though that's not really my alternate. Or is that, hang on, is that, that's not Delgada, is it? Let's have a quick look where that is. Charts and maps. Here comes Sim Toolkit Pro. We've got to recalculate the flight plan because hey 777, how you doing? And Zekoslav, hello to you. Yeah, the thing is, if anything goes wrong, we want to go to Ponta Delgada as an alternate airport. They have better facilities there. So I'm going to edit that, and Ponta Delgada is Lima Papa Papa Delta. So then we're going to take a bit extra for that. We'll generate the flight. And then we're going to get a little bit of a different fuel value. So we're going to reload that. So let's check that now. There we go. Now we've got Ponta Delgada as the alternate, and we need now, well, probably 8.6, I think. Yeah, we'll adjust that later once that's finished. So let's do that here as well. Load. Gonna be flying out. So if anyone plans to fly along and does want to take the 777, no, not 777, the 737, it's fine. In the end, you can still fly the approach there, that RNF Yankee. All that's happening is that the aircraft And I'll just sync that again. The aircraft will shortcut the last portion of the arrival a little bit. So here it is. So, hey Magus, wie geht's dir? Nice to see you. So what PMDG did with the 737 in this approach, because it can't do RF, radius to fix, it has 2 or 3 additional waypoints in this segment. So the aircraft will go waypoint, straight level waypoint, straight level waypoint, straight level waypoint. So it does a little bit of an arc, but with straight segments to these 3 other waypoints. And then from this waypoint to the final approach fix, it does a straight line. Which again, today is no issue because, there we go, sorry for the chart. So there we go, that's the straight line at the end. That is no issue today here because we are over at water. So don't worry if you take the 737, it'll be fine. Yeah, Florian, hello. Oh, you got a headache, okay. All the best wishes. Captain, the charts. Yeah. Yeah, finished. Thanks, Mark. All right, anyways. So that's the approach we plan for, and if the wind is too much, well, we go around and then reposition for an approach to the other runway. Be aware, regarding aircraft type, you only have 1,600 meters of runway available there. Just as a word of caution. So how does the fueling look? So control options, just need to change my quadrant here. That's from making that video this afternoon. Oh, hang on, I do want to try the... Yeah, let's try FS2 crew. Yeah, let's try that. Why not? No, so Jim, we are doing the flight on multiplayer.
Boarding requested. Do you want to board crew? Passengers bus is coming.
So let's try that. And there is our first officer. Fantastic. So, wow, this big aircraft here in Mediera. And boy, it's busy here on multiplayer. Well, we'll see. So, for departure, let me just check the... Right, so she's starting the APU, fantastic. Departure, right now, here Mediera. Yeah, 220 at 10, so it will be runway 23 for departure, 100%. No doubt about that. So weather, again, we'll have a look at destination. Right now, scattered 500, broken 800. So our RNP approach is doable there. That's all right. But it can get spicy later on. So good thing we have a alternate with fairly good weather. That's for tomorrow. So today, maybe just a bit of rain, but not too bad. Not too much wind either, so that's fine. Before I forget, let me just add a little bit more fuel. So we're going to need, to get to Porta Delegada, we're going to need a total of 8.6, let's say. So I'm going to go here, config fuel, and we'll take 8.6. And we'll have that in a minute in
black box. In IRL, would you rely on the destination or alternate airport Ponta Delgada, or would you tank fuel for a return to Madeira?
No, I think Ponta Delgada with that weather today is all right. I could have a look at the approaches, but if I remember correctly, Ponta Delgada is a good airport. It has ILS approaches.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to take that as an alternate. If it's
I'm out for the walk around.
if it was windy or thunderstorms, so if it had threats, then yeah, then I would take more fuel maybe to return to. It's just that Mediera is just 2-hour flight time back, and that's a lot of fuel you would need to take.
I simply think so. There maybe is an issue on the runway in Ponta Delgada that you can't land.
Well, if all things, well, I mean, we usually don't take, dual failures, triple failures into account.
Okay.
And in the end, we would also have another airport available, and that was the first one that SimBriefs gave us. But nonetheless, I mean, this is like a remote destination in the sense that it's a set of islands, quite far away. So if you don't have the fuel to come back to Mediera, you would definitely closely monitor the situation at the airports. And if anything, if there's any doubts, then you would just return to Mediera. Says about return flights. Recently flew with TAP from Lisbon to São Vicente in Cape Verde, and they returned back to Lisbon after refueling in Las Palmas. There was a sandstorm going on in Cape Verde. Yeah. Well, that was a long day then. Hey, mathematics, how you doing? Additional fuel? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So when you have a very challenging approach, so the likelihood of a missed approach is fairly high. And in that case today in Horta it's a short runway. You don't have much time to flare. The weather is somewhat marginal. So, if you don't take extra fuel with you and you go around, that's it. You're going to have to divert straight away. So I would take a little bit more fuel just to make sure that I have the option to do a second approach if necessary, and then have still enough fuel to divert easily to Ponta Delgada. Yeah, Gilend, also a good idea, yeah, absolutely. Good, so we got boarding going on. Nice. GG. Beautiful. Oh, we got to hurry up. Lots of passengers already on board. So that's good. Let's go here in it.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Hey Lilo, thank you so much, Fly Lilo, for 15 months of support. Big round of applause for that. Thank you, Lilo. And you wrote you just landed Samos. Visual approach, nice. GG's, 220 knots right on the markers. Exactly, perfect, cool. Well done. Someone else asked, so Sarf, you asked landing because of short runway, would you then accept 3 red, 1 white? No, I personally wouldn't. I don't know, maybe there's pilots that would do so. I would not. Simply because then your margin of error becomes very, very small, right? So, when you have 2 red, 2 white and you get low, then you have 1 white, 3 red. If you're already on 1 white, 3 red and you deviate a little bit below, you've got 4 reds, and you just do not want to have 4 reds on short approach. So I personally wouldn't do that, no. So
I'm back, no issue on the walk around.
Thank you very much. So we're planning 59.5 zero fuel weight. And we set 8.6 now, the block fuel. And let me change that here. Oh, boarding completed, it seems. So let's do mass and balance. Megas, while you're here, Megas, are you just only now doing racing, or do you still fly some simulator missions from time to time? Right, I'm just going to reset here. So I'm going to just adjust that again, 150. Yeah, so normally 200 feet is where we stop using 200 feet is where we stop using the parpies, because there is some ground influence. Then sometimes when you got high humidity, then you can get a distortion of that light, and so we are not allowed to use there we go, the parpies below 200 feet height. Megas is saying hardly using flight sims lately. Last time you got... Oh, okay. And oh, wow, okay. What did you get from Verpil, Megas? Hey, home email. Hey there, whenever you're applying manual brake on a landing system, would you need to apply full brake? No. Well, I mean, I'm saying no, but it depends, as always. In aviation, it always depends. So it depends on the situation of the runway. Is it, like today, 16 meters? Is it contaminated? Is it dry, wet, whatever? You have to take all these things into account and then look at how much margin you have. And you have to realize that if you're already calculating with max manual braking or max auto brake, well then yeah, if you then brake manually, you would have to go with max manual braking. If you've got a 3,000 meter runway dry, and you have like more than 1,000 meters margin between required and the actual landing distance available, why would you go max manual braking? Wouldn't make sense, right? So that's why, it always depends, as always. It's never just, simple yes or no.
Is max manual braking as strong as a RTO?
Are we good to start boarding?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sorry, Brenda, say again.
Is a max manual braking as strong as a RTO?
Yeah. Yeah. In this
so you can expect bursting tires and so?
Well, no. I mean, you've got anti-skid working as well, so the wheels shouldn't lock up, but you will get very hot brakes. Yeah, that for sure. So I'm just going to change the alternate here really quickly. Yeah, Porta Delgada is correct. You meant to disengage the auto brakes? No. So, I mean, depending on well, at Boeing at least, depending on the settings that you have in the auto brake, you have to apply more or less pressure on the brake pedals. But on the 787, for example, you have to be patient because there's a slight delay. Again, everything's going through the computers, and so there's a slight delay between your inputs and then actually getting into the brake discs, and so you've got to be patient. So you apply some brakes and just wait if that kicks out the auto brake, because otherwise, if you brake too hard, and then the auto brake kicks out, everyone will nod, but not in agreement with you. So I think it's freeware, Lilo. Yeah. Or maybe... No, that's freeware. Pretty sure, yeah.
It is a handcrafted airport from Asobo.
Yeah, exactly, handcrafted. Hey, Hayden, how you doing? Cool. So we've got the routing insert. A init B page filled out. Flight plan page is part of the departure right now. It's 2-3. And we did say we wanted to have Galos departure. So we'll take the Galos, it says Galos 1 whiskey. So we'll take that, and then that will take us to Galos, and then all the way to Solgi, and then we'll do the arrival. But first we'll do the approach. So that's going to be the Yankee 10. So we're going to have a look if 2 Echo or 5 Alpha. Would it make sense not to use any brakes? Yeah, so you can. So there are situations where when you plan to vacate, 3,000 meters down the runway, you would talk to your first officer and say, hey, what do you think? Manual braking? So leave the auto brake off and yeah, just use reverse or speed brakes at the beginning. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone got difficulties with reversers? Sorry, this was a problem with MD-82. I've not flown it for a very long time, sorry to say. So maybe the chat can maybe answer. Arrival, Solgi. So that's not the one I want. What about 2 Echo? Solgi to Echo. Oh yeah, there we go. So there's a Solgi to Echo, and then we get to Velas, and then from Velas it'll be the approach Yankee. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Oh yeah, so Giftswerk. I was sure that was going to come up, and I have to say, now, I don't want to say shocked but there's video proof, right? So if somebody had told me that story, I would have said, nah, they didn't go off the runway, get stuck in the mud, and then use, full power almost to get back onto the runway. No, they didn't do that. But then I saw the video, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I think it's fair to say we have to wait for the investigation to come out and explain why they went off the runway in the first place. And I mean, that can happen, aquaplaning, some issues with the brake system, whatever. So I'm not blaming them for going off the runway. I'm actually blaming them for coming to a complete stop in the mud. So you saw snow, mud, slush, and everything, and they got to full stop outside of the runway, and then they used so much thrust to get back to the runway. And so what's the issue? At least I seen the issue with the following. Since it was snow covered, you don't see what's below the snow. There could be cables, there could be whatever below the snow, and that could get entangled in the landing gear. You could, well, obviously they ingested, a lot of stuff, FOD, into the engines that way. And that's really the biggest thing for me, where I'm like going, why? If you go, and add that much power to the engines off the runway, you're sucking in everything. It's like a Hoover. You're sucking off everything off the ground. Gravel, you name it. Whatever's lying around there, you would suck that in. And, you're sure you're going to damage the engine. So for me, and again, I'm just quoting my own personal, kind of thoughts here. I'm in no way an investigator or, but expressing my view on that is, how on earth would you take that decision and do what they did? I don't know. I honestly don't. And the pictures from the damage, ouch. That's definitely coffee no biscuit talk with the boss. Go to Aviation Herald. So F Herald. Google that, and there it's just Google search. When you're on that website, go and search Vilnius. What was the flight number? That was the Avion. Yeah, Avion. Hey, Megas. Hang on. Oh no, so that was Autobot. Hey Voyager, moin, wie geht's? Ja. So there we go. So flight plan is filled out, and I think no discontinuities. Fantastic. All the way to the approach. Cool. RATNAV for departure. Let's just check the departure route here. Departure. And that was the Galos 1 Whiskey. Yeah. And not the Galos. Oh, it is a Galos. Galos 1 Whiskey, correct. Galos 1 Whiskey to Galos. Just check. Oh no, the Goska, disregard. Goska 1 Whiskey, not the Galos. Goska 1 Whiskey. I hate it. I really hate it in real life as well if you have departure routes that sound so similar. But actually, we should have filed Galos departure really, because we are going to Galos. Oh, I did file the Galos 1 Whiskey. Oh, see, that's what I mean with these different or departures that sound so similar. You think they get coffee? I don't know. But just saying, it's just one of those quotes, right? Saying, coffee, no biscuits. So there we go. That's Galos 1 Whiskey. Now we got it. It's a difficult job. It really is. So there we go. You would never. No, of course not. So initial climb is going to be level 100, and I'm using the mini FCU, so that should be working fine. And so it's track 175. So it's the immediate left turn away from the mountains there. Then we go to 401, 402, 403, and Galos. And then if crossing 8,200, proceed directly to Galos. And that's because at 8,200 you're well clear of the island, and so you can shortcut a bit. So 401, 402, 403, Galos. Yeah, that's fine. And level 100 is set. Excellent. Cool. So that's now done. Ground charts. Airport. So taxi out. Is cool. Nice. Then we'll have our departure performance. Yeah, to be honest, so Sekoslav, I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen an aircraft do that, or pilot decide to do that. So that's, and knowing...
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a safe flight.
You have a nice day. So again, to see that that behavior is just, I don't know. Because you're not going to hide that, are you? Right? Because, how would you be able to hide that from anyone? It's going to be full length. Got to do backtrack for sure. We're very heavy today, so we'll calculate that. So 62 flex, we'll do a flat 1, and I think we actually have some infos here, don't we? So we have Mediera. We're gonna have NADP 2, and engine out is 1700, 5.5, Funchal left fuselage to hold. Oh, and we've got another new feature, which is great. So you can actually take notes now. You could write down clearances, whatever, either on a fresh sheet of paper here. So that's neat. So I love how you get so many different options here with the Flow app. So we'll take 1 down 0.1. $1,200 there. Engine out 1700, full length. And then we got 45, 46, 48. that's that. Secondary copy active. We'll do a return here. And we'll do the VOR. No, RF23 in this case. No start, no via. And the engine up procedure. Again, that was initial climb 230. 5.5 Funchal. Oh, it doesn't. It will do. We'll do 5 and know that we have to turn just past that, and then we'll go to Fusul to hold. Cool. That looks good. So a quick look at the overhead panel. Oh yeah, in case you are new to flight simming or new to the A320, we have a nice little flows chapter here that will then guide you through all of the items you have to do in all different phases of flight. So we'll go and do the before start flow in a minute, but first we'll do the following. Are you ready for the departure brief?
Go ahead.
So we've got an A320, no technical issues at the moment. Weather is good, and we did order fuel of 8.6, and that is supplied symmetrical. So that's good, and that will give us about 35 minutes extra in Horta. Departure is the Galos 1 Whiskey up level 100. Departure. Yeah, according to the waypoints, and out of H2 we can go direct to Galos. Try to remember that. Specials, well, 8,200 is the sector. That's why you have to wait until you cross 8,200, because that's the MSA there, and then you can go direct to Galos. So as soon as we have that, we do so. 8.2 is the highest sector. Rest is fairly benign with water around. Case engine failure, straight out. Procedure is as briefed. Straight out to 5.5 from Funchal VR. Then we turn left to Fusul, which is there. So straight out 5.5, which is pretty much at the end of the runway already. So we turn fairly soon to Fusul. Accelerate in 1700 in case of engine out. We're going to climb 4,000 at least for a return, and that will be an overweight landing in case of a quick return. So just need to enter a few more data points. And too bad in a white plane. Yeah, that plane looked done. That aircraft looked done. So yeah, like I said, I don't know what went through their minds. But hey, you would always think you've seen everything in aviation, but no, there's always something else. But it would be funny if Meta Pilot does a video on that at some point. That should be funny to watch. I mean, funny in the sense, you know, because I know he has some funny comments sometimes. So Yeah, I know, right? It never happened. I've never seen that happen before, ever. So, transition is in. Where's my 5,000? So there we go. Leave at 5,000. That's good. And CG is. Hold on. CG is 29 for takeoff. Yeah, 29. Cool. Before start checklist.
Parking brake.
Set.
Takeoff speeds and thrust.
145, 146, 148, flexing 62. Flex 62. Oh, flexing 62 degrees. Set and checked.
V1 145, VR 146, V2 148, flex temp 62 degrees.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we cleared to close?
Yes.
Windows.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
Closed.
Beacon.
On.
Before start checklist completed.
Hey Bob, due to a strike now I'm not. No, you gotta be joking. No, what, you were flying on Wednesday?
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our flight today. This is the lead flight.
The machinist, yes. If it's like, you know, below 0 degrees, yes, he would add a little bit of additional. Now for us, the machinist, for us, our EFB in the real world does that automatically.
On this aircraft.
So we don't have to calculate it ourselves. But yes, of course, you would have to take that cold temperature into account. Yeah. Newmark, yes, it's FS2 crew.
Belt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened.
So, Brennelt, I think you already departed.
I'm already on 33,000 feet.
Oh no.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Oh.
You are very slow today.
Well, there's always lots of stuff to talk about and
Yeah.
prepare, so.
In an emergency, lights will illuminate the
I rarely
The cabin is pressurized if there is
am able to depart like within 30 minutes after stream begin.
Yeah, I know.
remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
Shams, if you're here, thank you so much, Shams, for the €5 donation as well. That, I think, was when I was offline. Shams, thank you very much. Big shout out.
Cover your nose and mouth with the mask. Place the elastic band around your head and tighten by pulling on the end. Secure your own mask before assisting others. Your seat bottom cushion may be used as a flotation device. Pull up and remove the cushion. Upon exiting the aircraft, place your arms around the cushion and grab the seat off the back. This is a non-flight.
Another Phoenix. Who's this?
Locking gear.
Aviation. I hope you don't mind me pushing back as well. Well, there's no collision system here in use anyway, so shouldn't be a problem. Let's have a look. Yeah, Chalenta, I'll have to check the QNH. Let me just have a look. Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
Exiting from editing mode. Please wait.
Release the parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear.
Muchas,
Start at wheel.
muchas gracias. Let's check again. Whether departure 10. Hang on, that's oh 26. Okay, my bad. Yeah, thanks. 26 it is. Starting engine 2.
Okay.
That's all on. Bleed is available. Oh, my, see what I mean? Not flying the Airbus for ages. Prompt forgetting some stuff. So Bob, just to reiterate, so you were planning to fly on Wednesday. Have you already gotten some news regarding rebooking or something? Because I heard they should be doing that today.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting York Aviation for your engine start.
Uh-oh. Oh no. I need to restart GSX. Hear that sound? That means something went wrong with GSX. Yeah, I thought so. You see? I knew it. I knew it. GSX memes. And flight level Ritz, hello. Starting engine 1.
Okay.
I never have such problems. Maybe it has to do with your manual pushback?
No, I don't know. It's the last time it happened, it was like months ago. It was like a year ago or something. But I remember, because we had a meme compilation at some point, and there was one meme where you heard the pushback still going on because of that rattling noise. And then I don't know if we got burning brakes or something, or the aircraft lunged forwards at some point. But yeah, that was definitely a nice meme. Yeah.
I had one time years ago. The pushback started, and the pushback truck pushed me into the water in a matter of 1 second.
Oh no!
It made bump. I was in the water. Okay. I don't know why.
Yeah, GSX. You just have to be careful. GiftSpec says GSX is balked at the moment in general, having issues P3 as well. Oh, really? Okay. And yes, Zegoslav also says similar problems 6 months ago. There we go. Right, anyways, so let's do the flows here for after engine start. Flight control check.
Ready? Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Rudder.
Full left. Full right. Neutral.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Off.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
Set and checked.
Rudder trim.
Neutral.
After start checklist completed.
Clear left side.
Still right side.
Oh. Lol. Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Wow, that's a long delay again today from FS to crew. Try this aim lift airplane. I don't know. It's because that was not lifter right now, so I'm surprised if that was the case. I mean, I could try, Bob. Yeah. So you rebooked for a different day. Oh, that okay. That's the rebooking then caused you not to fly the 747. That's sad. Oh no. Do you still have a chance to rebook on to another day or something? Taxi checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked.
Where is he
setting.
flying to?
Config 1+F.
Config 1+F. Radar and predictive wind shear system.
On and auto.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff, no blue.
Taxi checklist completed.
Sorry, Bruno, say again.
Sorry, you was on a checklist.
Yeah.
Where's 777 Bob flying to?
I don't know if he wants to disclose that,
Ah, okay.
but I know that he'd love to just take a 747 flight. And that's sad to see it being changed that way.
I have never in my life been in a long-haul aircraft.
Really?
Really. The biggest aircraft in my life was a 757.
So maybe you have to then go on and follow me on my retirement flight
Yeah.
next year.
When you tell me beforehand what it will be, then
Yes.
I will.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
You have a date for that?
Well, no, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, Megas next year, yeah. October, latest. Avenger, so apparently it is standard, yeah. Go ahead, Brennelt. Sorry, you were just about to say something.
Really? Next year, October, you will stop flying?
Latest, yeah.
Oh, that's very short. I thought you will fly longer, and now you have the 787 rating.
Nope.
Okay.
Am I qualified in Mediera? No, I'm not. For our company, only instructor captains are allowed to land here. For good reason. Hey, Rafa, good evening. Yeah, I guess I'm going to be 56 next year when I retire, so I think it's alright to retire at 56 being an airline pilot. No, I'm not stopping flying. I still plan to fly some GA aircraft. Or if I get a very dirty offer, who knows? But I don't think I will. You know, I'm not saying I will not fly anymore. Either GA or I get another dirty offer. One of those things. We'll see.
I sometimes saw videos of pretty old-looking captains flying 747s or something like that.
But not me. So let me just do the procedure here. Runway entry procedure.
Takeoff runway confirm. Approach path clear of traffic.
Lineup checklist.
Takeoff runway.
23 confirmed.
Runway 23 confirmed. TCAS.
TARA.
PAX 1 and 2.
Off.
Lineup checklist completed.
Ready?
Ready.
Takeoff. Manflex 62 SAS auto thrust blue.
Thrust set 100 knots.
Checked.
V1 rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
NAF. Thrust climb, out blue, auto thrust.
Packs are on.
Jürgen Klopp is 56-2, he's retiring. Well, there you go.
Is there a rule how old you can be at maximum for a airline pilot?
Yeah, 65.
Okay.
That's the absolute oldest. Hayden asked, how come you're retiring so young? Well, it's personal, somewhat personal, because I mean, I have been flying since, well, I started training in 1990, so that's a very long time ago. So I'll be, it's a time span of 36 years, you know, from beginning of my training as an airline pilot to retiring. 36 years is a long time. Flap 0.
Speed checked. Flap 0.
So for me personally, I just want to spend less time commuting back and forth to Bremen, because so much time, it takes so much time from my life that I'm also lucky enough to have a wife which I very much still love and I want to spend more time with. So you know, it's a matter of looking at the rest of time you have available in your life, and you know, what do you need in life. And for me personally, I've never been a material kind of person, so I've never bought expensive stuff. I don't own an expensive car. I don't own expensive house. I'm not what do you call it? Minimalistic, but I'm also not living in luxury, and I've never cared about that. So what I do care about is you know, my loved ones, people around me, this community as well. So you know, feel loved from that side.
Standard cross-checked. Passing flight level.
So
0,
definitely,
6,
you know,
3.
I'll do and continue streaming, but I want to do you know, a little bit different stuff. So. Yeah. Hey, Kavari. You recently had the opportunity to spend 3 hours in a CAE flow flight. Thanks to you, the same instructor asked me if I was tired. Ha ha! Carl, GG's. Round of applause for that. GG. Carl, that's a big compliment. Thank you. And I hope you have enjoyed that mission, right? Yeah. Wonderful. Oh, Voyager, anytime. Yeah, you're that side. 100% Voyager. And maybe, Voyager, if you're brave enough and I get my PPL license back, I'll take you on a flight around the North Frisian Islands. Oh yeah, Beyond Lewis, no doubt. I'm not saying that, you know, I don't enjoy certain privileges that I've got because of the you know, me working as an airline pilot. But and I've been asked here on stream, I've been asked many times, hey, will you not miss flying? And I'm like, yeah, a little bit, but more than anything, thrust climb up blue, 320, more than anything, I will miss the people that I've worked with. So one of the really, really, really amazing things working as an airline pilot, and especially working as a captain, is the people that you are able to meet, even if it's just for a very short flight, very short time, you know, a short rotation, 4 or 5 days or something. Nevertheless, I have met some incredible personalities, and that to me is really the biggest thing that I will miss when I retire from my life as an airline pilot. And so, you know, flying, I can still do some private flying. I can fly GA aircraft, which is also very enjoyable. I can go glider flying if I wanted to. So, you know, there's many things I can do. The most interesting people, to be honest, there are so many people working in the cabin, for example. And I always advise people when they talk to cabin crew, be aware there are highly intelligent and highly qualified people working as cabin crew. We have doctors, so fully qualified doctors. We have opera singers. We have engineers. We have whatever. I pretty much think we cover all professions you can think of. We have as cabin crew as well. So, please don't ever think that there are people working in the cabin. Because I've heard some really horrible comments from some passengers from time to time, and so treat them with the utmost respect, because trust me, we've got some very bright people in the back there. So, and they are able and willing to save your life if they need to, and they'll happily do so. Yeah, Jeremiah. No. Yeah, exactly, Bob. Right now, I have a flight simming. So this is another thing that people don't realize. Flight simming is a lot of fun, and I've had the privilege and the luxury to build myself a nice little home cockpit pit, which is not specific to one single flight simulator, but I can fly 737, 320, props, GA. I can fly helicopters, jets, fighter jets, and so that's something I will definitely enjoy in my free time as well. Megas, you think so? No, Megas, come on, please don't tell me you have an even bigger screen. Come on, I mean 62. Landing lights off. Seatbelts off. Not yet, okay. Clear RATNAV.
Okay.
Yeah. Sekoslav, it's something that I think my father taught me, and something I've always respected and continued to do is I always respect other human beings, and the only time that may lack is if they prove me wrong. So if they do something or they don't treat me with with a kind of eye to eye respect, then I may change my attitude towards them. But otherwise, I will treat everyone with respect and friendliness. And so very rarely have I been disappointed in that. Hey Megas, okay. Megas, vielen Dank fürs Reinschauen. Mach's gut, bleib gesund. Take care, Megas. You should go to Turkey when you retire, number 7. Get a submarine. Well, to be honest, here's the thing. Water... Yeah, Megas, gerne, yeah. Water isn't my element. Hey, Driver 101, how you doing? Clear RATNAV, that is... so if I enter anything here, so for example, a VOR or something manually, that has to be cleared out. So let's say, for example, I would put Funchal in there manually. It's in large letters. That is not cleared, and so that is blocked later on once you get out of reach of that VOR. So clear RATNAV means clear key, clear, and clear that out again, so that you have automatic tuning. That's clear RATNAV. Yeah, Bob. Yeah, but again, I'm talking about my own personal experience that I've had in my life, where I've met so many people, and very, very rarely have I been disappointed, from their attitude or the way they treat other people. Avenger, you can rest assured. I pray that I don't have to take the aircraft down into the water. So, yeah. No, water isn't my element, honestly. And so submarine, nope. Nope, no. The same with skydiving. Now, here's the thing: skydiving. I say big respect to anyone that does skydiving. For me, logic is, I don't jump out of aircraft that are intact. I don't do that. No. Imagine jumping out of an intact aircraft and then find out your chute doesn't open. No. No, 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 no. Yeah, Bob, I get it. Yeah, it's something I am somewhat aware of, that that I have to I kind of have to take myself back sometimes and try to remain, you know, calm and collected and you know, remain friendly. But I can tell you, when I see someone being abusive towards my cabin crew, ooh, well, then then we have the other case where that person doesn't receive my respect anymore. So, yeah. Tell that to Tom Cruise. Yeah, I know. Tom Cruise, again, apart from other things, you know, which he does in his private life, but that's not my business. But, I mean, the stunts that he does, wow. I would never have the guts to do that. Parang Ryan, hey. How you doing? Oh no, I don't get physical. No. If anybody gets told to leave the aircraft from me and doesn't do that, you know, on their own, I just get the police. They'll have that sorted out.
Have you also had a boxing training?
No. No, I'm absolutely not a physical person, so I'm sure that, I mean, I would put up a fight if I had to, but I think I'd probably lose. So, no, I'm in no way. I don't do karate. I've never done boxing. You know, I don't like, yeah, physical confrontation. Apart from literally playing football, that's all right. You know, playing football, you know, that sort of stuff. That's team sports. That's something different. But you know, you don't kick someone on purpose. You still treat.
Are there still security officer on every flight?
I can't comment on that openly.
Oh, okay.
It's a security topic, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah. Okay.
So Tillman, the FENIX flare is somewhat synthetic. If you really want to have an aircraft that feels a little bit more lifelike, then the fly-by-wire mod will give you a little bit better flare feel, at least at the moment. So FENIX version 2 should be out soon, apparently. Not that I know, but reading the news, it should be out soon, and then hopefully that will improve. I'll be eager to try it out once it is released. Bob, I don't know. I don't want to try that, to be honest. ETA, right now, it says 1808 UTC, but that's wrong. I mean, not wrong in the sense that, because that's not lifetime. So that's in about an hour 35. 1 hour 35. So
the wind is still from 240 with
okay.
8.
Okay. Well, but that's not too much then. It's
okay.
It's only at 4 or 5 knots. It should be okay. What are your thoughts on the Latin VFR A330 add-on? I've never tried it. Now, there's a couple of add-ons I've not touched yet. So I know that there's certain, streamers or influencers or real-world pilots that take the time to try out literally every add-on that comes out. I had to step back from that approach because I'm somewhat strict when it comes to my available free time and how I use it. So I try to balance things evenly out between family and streaming, and so I honestly don't want to try and spend hours and hours off stream trying to learn a new aircraft type, and then try to showcase it in a video or on live stream. I'd rather spend time on stream with aircraft that I feel comfortable with, or if there is something, I'll start where I definitely say I've got to try it out because this could potentially be one of the good ones. So as an example, the Indibuilt's A300, for example. And yes, even though I did rage a little bit about the lack of improvements regarding FMS in PMDG models, I would definitely get the 777 because of the fact that I'm actually rated on the 777 now. I would have tried out here in Microsoft Flight Sim. Felix, guten Abend. And so, I would get that. However, I would strongly suggest anyone who considers maybe getting 777 from PMDG, maybe wait until it's released and you get some reports out, some honest reviews from people. Maybe not, must buy, maybe not for everyone. Maybe there's people that don't like long range flying. So, because let's face it, the 777 is not going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap. Hey, Gude Forward, wie geht's dir? Tony, hi. What is Northwest in the telemetry strip? Up. That should be the offline. That should be network. Sorry, NW network. So if you fly on VATSIM, it would say VATSIM there instead of offline. Yeah, I'm doing well, Forward. Thanks for asking. So, your kit. Oh, there's an aircraft. Lol, hang on. How come I don't see that on... Above, below? That is interesting. It's not showing up on TCAS, but he should be a little bit higher than me. Who's that? Leviathan. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so one of the biggest things is this, long-range flying on Microsoft. There's one big problem. And that is if you get a crash to desktop. Right. It doesn't have autosave. You can't go back and restart again from the point where the aircraft crashed to desktop. Especially long range, that's always something to look out for. Yeah, that's true, Bob.
Yes, you can black box using the FSI panel.
Well, okay, so yes, so what Brennelt is talking about, and that's a good point. So what you can do is try to memorize, the kind of values that you had when the aircraft, or look at your flight planning. Then you can go select a fix and put the aircraft into a position at the flight level of your choice and reposition the aircraft close to where the crash to desktop happened. So yeah, that is possible with FSI panel. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but you have to fill out the MCDU and some other
Yeah.
things manually after that, but you don't lose hours for that. I already did it several times.
Yeah. That's a good point. So as a FSI panel, I can highly recommend that that app for many different things, and yeah, and doing that as well. Yeah, time acceleration. Yeah, time acceleration could be okay as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But a hardcore flight simmer never uses time acceleration.
Yeah. Hang on. Oh, we got lots of comments coming in. So, hold on. So I thought I would be excited for the 777 as well, but not really since the 787 is getting better. Okay. Dubai Muscat, Dubai Doha does not go. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, Voyager, absolutely. And Aaron, hey, moin. Some pilots use Volanta. Yeah, I've never tried Volanta, so I don't know. Yeah, but how? Yeah, always we talked about that, but Volanta doesn't. You can't respawn again at that position where you had to crash a desktop, right? It's not like you know, in the P3D with FSU IPC. Yeah, and the Aviator, you also had to crash the desktop. Yeah, the thing that happens, right? I mean, and Peter says when you have the payware FSU IPC, you can come back to the last place where the sim crashed. Okay. I would have to look into that because I've not seen that yet. Hey, Aaron, you had a group. Okay, how did it go, Aaron? You can respawn. Use it once. I remember that worked well. Sometimes. Okay, well, I'll have a look into it. Always, I'll check that out. Yeah. Yeah, Bob. Right. So forward, you say with the PMG you can save the complete setup manually. Even route is saved. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the FSI panel, for example, takes that advantage. Yeah. It's noted in the FSU PC document. Okay, thanks, Peter. I'll check that out. Yeah, thanks. Cheers. Yeah, for me personally, again, you know, I'm looking forward to having a long-range airliner in Microsoft Flight Sim with some options for failures. Again, so that way I can demonstrate, you know, some aspects regarding ETOPS, you know, immersion descent, you name it. So there's options there where, you know, you can demonstrate some interesting things here on stream. So that's why I'm looking forward to it.
Does the 787 not support any failures?
No. And the cool thing is, Reynolds, since the 787 is so similar to the 777, you know, be it hydraulics, flight controls, engines, etc. I do think I could practice a lot of stuff with the 777 that also applies in the 787.
And even the 200 and the 300, I think they are pretty different from the 787.
Not really. The thing is this, if they were too different, you wouldn't get a joint rating on them.
Yeah, but I think you have the joint rating on the 777X and not on the 300 or 200.
No. So the people that came from cargo, for example, 777, they only had to do a very short 787 rating course. Because again, the aircraft is so similar, and all I need to do is have like 3 missions in a simulator, then to get final rating on the 777. And so in my license, it doesn't say 777X, it says 777. So that includes all of the variants. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know the avionics of the 787, and I know it also from the 777-200 and 300, and they look pretty different.
Mm. Well, once the PNG comes out, I can then demonstrate more about the similarities.
Okay.
So
maybe the systems in the background are similar, but the controls are different.
In what regard? Which controls?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. For example, you don't have. I think you don't have a checklist, built-in checklist in the 777.
Oh, you do.
You have?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very comprehensive electronic checklist system. Same principles. The autopilot system is very, very similar. So the modes on the FMA, on the autopilot panel, the way you program the FMS is very similar.
It's widescreen and the navigation displays, for example, you don't have any in 777.
Yeah, but that's not so important in a sense because the important information is all there. Yes, it's a little bit different, but it's not as if it's like, between 320 and a 777 or something. So
yeah, of course.
And then fly-by-wire system is pretty similar. Yeah, so again, I can demonstrate more once the 777 comes out here in Microsoft.
Okay. But you also have the 777 and P3D, right?
Yeah, but I did fly that last week sometime. Yeah, so I always have to go back to the other hard drive. I could do that again, but I do hope for the visuals being more interesting here in Microsoft Flight Sim.
Yes, of course.
And so I do hope maybe at some point that I could ditch P3D.
Yeah, I already did it.
Yeah.
I deinstalled it completely. But I feel sad for the 747 and the -8.
Yeah, that's true.
But I hope they will come out at some day for MSFS.
Yeah. So regarding -8, there's a good one in X-Plane.
Yeah, I don't fly X-Plane as well.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So I do, and that I can get in X-Plane. 737s is very good in X-Plane. And I can have a 747-200 in X-Plane. But, I mean, they did say on their time plan, 777, what's next? 737 MAX, I think, and then 747 or something.
Oh no, I don't need a 737 MAX. I want to have the 747.
Me too, but it seems like for their priorities, apparently, so maybe correct me if I'm wrong. So Pilot 19, hello, and Aaron, oh, your assessment went bad? I'm not expecting. Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I would more like a 757 or 767 than a 737 MAX.
Yeah, I know, absolutely, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Aaron, well, yeah, like I said, I am always a little bit too self-critical as well. Yeah, just wait for the results. Yeah, it's always difficult to really sense, where you stand after these assessments. Yeah, the received messages or company message, we'll check that now. No ADC required. Okay, that's good to know. So in reality now, if we were flying on VATSIM, for example, as well, we would have to get a crossing clearance. Let me just call up Navigraph here. They haven't mentioned the 747 much lately, yeah. Yeah, that's what I kind of grasped as well. That there seemed to be, hyping the 737 MAX more than the 747. Yeah. So there we go. So here you can see that we're now in the Santa Maria Oceanic airspace. So from Irkut, we would have needed to get or prior to that, we would have needed to get a en route or an oceanic clearance in real life. So. Avenger, yeah, who knows? Oh, nice. Okay, Oisk, thanks for the info. So Oisk says on the forums there was a comment saying a significant portion of the MAX is already completed. And when we have more specific information, we will share it. As previously mentioned, you will have the option to fly the full range of NG MAX variants once we release them. At this moment, we are winding the 777 up, however, so the focus is there primarily. Okay, yeah, thanks, always. Now, please I seriously hope that when they bring out the MAX, that they get the FMS up to scratch. Meaning, the basic functions that the real aircraft has these days, right?
Isn't there a MCAS installed?
I don't know if they commented on that. I mean, if you want to go for realism, it should have, right?
It should, yeah.
Gazo, hey, you said you're on a MAX for the first time. You were flying on the 737 MAX 8-200, yeah. So how was it? Yeah, and people were asking, would you ever fly on a MAX? And I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, I know all of the hype and all of the, the questions around that topic right now, but personally, I still think it's a safe aircraft. It's the risk lies more in bad pilots than bad aircraft. Still up to this day, so choose your airline wisely, and I think you'll be all right. Loose bolts and the option of the FMS. Lol. Yeah. Yeah. Gazo, you're a bit nervous after we arrived at Double S? Yeah, okay, so I can imagine it's a nice modern aircraft. Probably quiet as well, just like the Neo. You'd love to see the, hey Torre, you'd like to see the classics in Microsoft, yeah. Yeah, me too. By the way, Torre. But I'm going to try the classic, so the XEC and X-plane very soon. It's okay. I think that only entered the destination data very close to landing because the independent. It is dependent on GPS accuracy. You mean the data here? Or in the on the Boeing, Gillen? Which aircraft do you mean? Hey, Aviation. Right, lovely. You're flying along, right? Just saw you. Hang on, where are you? Hold on. Outside you. There we are. That's you there, right? Once you flew a TUI, 737 MAX was quite enjoyable, but TUI actually has still the huge leg room. Okay, wow. 1.94 meters, that's a lot of leg room, yeah. I'm trying to think what influence entering data here has on GPS. Not to my knowledge. Or do you mean... Oh, I think I know what you mean. You mean if you plan to fly an RMP approach, you don't really know the minimums until you get close to the airport because like today, for example, you have different minimas depending on the accuracy. So when you fly the... just get that. Yeah, Gilend. Okay, so that's what you mean. Okay, cool. So what Gilend is referring to is the following. So below here, you have different minima values, and that is depending on the RMP values. So normally on an RMP approach, you have 0.3 nautical miles, and that is usually from the final approach point onwards to the missed approach point. Beyond that, it's 1.0, and before that, it's normally also 1.0 unless it states otherwise. So, for example, it says here, required until Hotel Romeo 406. So that accuracy is actually required until that waypoint there, so past the runway. So that means if you want to take a minimum, let's say today, of 610, the ANP, so the actual navigation precision, you find that on the progress page, the ANP here, if that is equal or better to 0.1, you could then fly the minimum down to 610. Yeah, so that is something. But personally, Gilend, what you can do is the following. You can initially just enter the data on this side and leave the minimums open, or fill in the highest minimum initially, in this case 660 feet, and then during the approach say, okay, we still have accuracy 0.05, let me enter required 0.01, 0.1 in here, and then we'll fly that lower minimum. So yes, you could do that later in the approach.
Blackbox, have you already tried a landing performance calculation?
No, let me do that. So, landing performance. I know it's going to be spicy. I'm aware of that. So we got 65 tons right now. We're going to burn another 2.5. So the landing will be round about 63. So let me calculate 63 point. Oops. Let me do that with 63.2. Now the weather, it could be wet runway. Could apply the METAR, and then we'll have auto thrust off. We'll use medium, flat 4, and the runway is going to be 10. Oof. Okay, so, well, with that wind currently, that's a problem. 230 at 15. That is actually a lot of tailwind still. Okay, we'll have a look. Okay. So strictly speaking, then, yeah, with max manual still because of wet runway. If the runway is dry runway, we could do max manual braking. That would still be allowable. But yeah. And I guess in real life, you would very rarely see a 320 land at Horta. I think the Century 7600 or something like that would be kind of the biggest aircraft that would go there.
For me, it is very close as well. I think it's more like a Dash 8 or some 8TR aircraft.
Yeah. But we are doing flight simulations, so yeah, it's always about the challenge, the fun. Hey, Daniel.
For me, with wet runway, I can't stop. Then I'm swimming in the water.
Yeah. So let me just go through the calculations again and explain to you how this. How do you get the landing distance, Brennelt? Does PNG have that now?
Yeah, it has.
Ah, okay. So actually, let me try this function first. I hope I can draw with my mouse here. So So. Huh? What am I doing? Okay, something's gone wrong with my... Oh no, there it is. So, so you have a runway. Okay. There's your runway. And let's say, well, it doesn't really matter how long it is. So a Boeing test pilot will do several, lots and lots of landings. All right. So there's certain sections that are being looked at. So here's 50 feet. Okay, so 50 feet above the threshold. Then you have your touchdown. And where the aircraft has come to a full stop. Okay? So the test pilots will do that on a dry runway. And then they have a certain flare amount. And they have a stopping distance from the touchdown to full stop. And yes, they're using full manual braking. They have the best tires. They have the best, newest brakes. And then they get to a value, let's say, 800 meters. Okay? So that's 800 meters from 50 feet until full stop. Now you can imagine the stress that will put on the aircraft. But again, they're doing flight testing, right? They have no passengers on board. The aircraft will weigh, let's say, landing weight 60 tons, let's say, all right? Just as an example. So 60 tons, okay? So, now, for us airline pilots, we get additionals because we airline pilots are not test pilots. And we don't want to have our passengers come by the cockpit personally after landing to tell them their complaints, by going full brakes. And so what we do is we land, with more passenger comfort. And so what happens is that we get an additional on a dry runway. And so the 800 meters is multiplied by 67%. So let me get my calculator because my math is so bad. I'd rather have a proper value. So 800 meters, there we go. So 800 meters times 1.67 gives you 1,336 meters. Excuse the writing. So 1,336 meters. That is our required legal landing distance. And that is something that will be shown on a calculator, a performance calculator, right? However, we also then, so this is the value. So let's say the LDR here, right? Landing distance required. That value is this one there. So it's the tested, certified landing distance done by test pilots multiplied by 67%. Ulas, I will get to that in a minute. Rainer must have broken the calculator, lol. So, on top of that, when we do our calculations, we will add another 15% to the LDR, landing distance required. Okay? So let's add another 15%, which will then be a little bit more what we have here on the calculator. So 1336 times 15%. That's another 200 meters. So it's now 1,536 meters. Okay. That is our official required landing distance for being in flight. Tail West, how you doing? Tail West, correct me if I'm wrong with anything, please, because I'm doing this right from memory, and I hope my memory doesn't, fool me now. So this is what we calculate with. Now, in emergency situations, me as a captain, I can decide to go with the raw value of the LDR. In emergency situations, in all normal operations, that is the value with the additional 15% on top. Now, what if we have so that's for dry runway, okay? That whole calculation is dry runway. Yeah. What happens if it's wet? Well, if it's wet, then the dry value, LDR, will get another 50. Oh, sorry. Is it this one? Yeah, this one, it gets another 15% additional. Although, hang on, disregard this. No, officially, it's the 1.67 value. So, let me try that. So we got 13336 plus the 15. So that would be then the wet value. And on top of that, you add another 15% for your pilot additionals, if you like. So 15%. So that's another 230. So you would then get a wet required distance of 1,766 meters. That is for wet runway. Is that understandable? Reynolds, did you?
Yes, I understood it.
Okay,
Yes.
so you can see that it's a very theoretical kind of approach regarding landing distance requirements. But we, as pilots, we are required to calculate those values before each landing. It doesn't matter if it's a normal landing or an emergency landing. Yes, so here comes now the other thing. So a dry runway gives you today 1,306 unfactored, and factored is the 1,502. Now, if it's wet, then we have a braking coefficient of 5, and then what you will see, the legal value gets up to 1,806 meters, and the in-flight landing distance with the 15% additional then is 2,077. So that's way above what we have available today. But let's just ignore that for now. It's just about the theory behind it. So what happens then? Somebody quite rightly asked, well, what happens if you use full max reverse? Well,
Nothing.
Well, it has a little bit of an effect. 50 meters. It's not much, is it? Or 60 meters.
I mean, a 737, there nothing changes.
Okay.
If I use reverse or not, it's the same landing distance required.
Yeah. So, do you know why that's the case?
Yes, because the auto brake is designed to make a specific deceleration amount of deceleration, and yeah, when you activate the reverser, then the brakes do a little bit less work.
Okay. So that's with auto brake setting. That's correct, Brenda, when you use the auto brake. So let's have a look again at dry, using the medium auto brake setting, and then you have wet, and it then doesn't get the same deceleration it would have on a dry runway. Now, if you're using max manual braking, well, you're using the absolute maximum available braking force that you can exert onto the tires, i.e. then onto the tarmac. Now, that actually gives you a very good braking coefficient still, even on a wet runway. And then suddenly things get a lot worse when the runway conditions deteriorate. And so you can see that medium, medium poor, suddenly it gets a huge increase. And why is that? Just like Brendel just mentioned, you just do not get the deceleration force now because the tires will have difficulty exerting that braking force onto the runway. So there will be more slip. And hence your main means of braking will be reverse and spoilers. So if you have no reverse, it gets a lot worse as well. Actually, I think in real life, medium poor would get even a lot worse values than this, but that's just guessing. But yeah, the whole topic is fairly complex. And so a good understanding of the whole topic is important, especially when you get braking actions outside of dry and good.
What do you think, which braking action will we have when it says we have light rain?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
So officially, until 3 millimeters standing water, it's just wet. It's not regarded as contaminated. Now, also, the contamination calculations are based on pure calculations. They have not been tested. Right. These are computer program calculations, very conservative, so they will have a lot of additionals in them. But I can tell you that from real world experience, if you actually have a, let's say, medium to poor runway condition and your brakes don't do much, as they will not do much on a slippery runway, so your main braking force comes from reversers and spoilers, the deceleration force is a lot less. And it's very, very unusual for us pilots because like 99% of time we land on good or dry runways. And so that is something that makes you very uncomfortable very quickly. And so let's say, for example, if you do max reverse calculation, flap full, max, so let's do medium auto brake in these conditions. And so the LDR is already 2,600 meters, and with additional is about 3,000 meters. Well, you're going to pretty much use up that runway as calculated, because not having normal brakes available just slows slows down the deceleration by a huge margin. And it's a very, very strange feeling to have that, in real life, where you actually do use 2,500 meters before you get to a speed where you can leave the runway. Now, someone was saying, let's go back to the let's say dry runway. So someone was saying, hey, but so for us pilots, dry runway, max manual braking, it says here 1,500 meters. So let's say you as an airline pilot, you land, and then you make a good landing, you don't flare for long, and then you actually use max manual braking. Well, where do you think the aircraft will stop? Well, you're not going to stop at 800 meters, right? So, because max manual braking depends on your foot pressure. But Tail West, Tail West, let me ask this. Now, so Tail West, if you don't know, is an instructor pilot in real life. And have you ever done a max manual braking in the real aircraft, i.e. RTO, or have you ever done that? Because for me, I've never done a high-speed RTO in my life, and knock on wood, I never have to do that.
Welcome aboard.
Oh,
the
Mark,
Captain
thank you so
Black
much.
Box Twitch channel subscriber
And do you think is a max manual braking that much different from a auto brake max?
Where complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight entertainment will be served.
I mean,
Thank
here in
you.
the 737, in the Airbus, you don't have auto brake max.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, thank you so much for gifting us up to Tail West. Mark, thank you very much. And that's 340 gifted subs. 340. Lol. So, yeah, so the maximum setting here in the Airbus obviously is only available for RTO. So you don't have that available for landing. You only have low and medium. Now, medium is already a fairly strong deceleration force in the Airbus. But max on the RTO case will give you max, you know, the same, pretty much same values as max manual braking. And I think max auto brake will actually give you a better braking than max manual braking. I think pilots will probably shy away from continuously using max manual braking in the real aircraft because of that huge deceleration force. Yeah, and exactly, Tail West. So Tail West brings up a good point, and that is, if you feel the anti-skid working in the real aircraft, so in the rudder pedals, you immediately worry because that's something you don't normally feel. And actually feeling the feedback of the anti-skid kicking in is something where you probably will shy away from continuing to use max manual braking unless you've primed yourself to do so. Right? But I'm talking about normal operations, you know, you because I've had that as well, where, you know, I expected medium braking action, and it was actually more going towards poor, and I just touched the brake pedals. I could immediately feel the anti-skid working, and that, again, that is something very, very uncomfortable.
How does the high-speed RTO feel in the full motion simulator?
Well, interesting, but nothing like the real aircraft.
Okay.
Yeah, the ULAs, exactly, just like in a car. Yeah, yeah. If you've tried the anti-skid in the car, that's what it feels like in the aircraft. Yeah.
And for this landing here, I think you should give you a latest point where you have to touch down.
Yeah.
And after that, you need to go around or you will swim.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you do not have luxury to do a long flare.
I will try to aim for the threshold and not for the aiming point. Maybe so I have 20-30 meters more.
Yeah. So let's see if I got some more questions. Full reverse and FENIX landing has very effect with respect to idle. So you mean like for the max manual braking as well? Yeah. Now, again, don't take this as a real world calculator. This is for flight simming. So this is supposed to give you some, you know, rough estimates, which is okay. But this has nothing to do with real world calculations. Yeah, Tail West says, Brennel, there's a good point which landing distance to use in the 910 chart. So let's have a look at the 910 chart. So you go to ground charts. Yeah, or 10.9. Yeah, 10.9. There we go. So, let's have a look. Yeah, so normally, yeah, what Tail West would refer to is normally you have a glide slope, so distance to run from the glide slope position, which is about 1,000 foot marker, and when the other value is from the beginning of the runway. So let me have a look for Ponta Delgada and see if that's there. Yeah, here, for example, that's example. So Ponta Delgada will give you a distance available from the threshold, and that's a displaced threshold. So runway 30, that point there, will give you a physical runway to stop of 2,248 meters. Now, if you're flying on the glide slope and you touch down exactly where the glide slope antenna is, so 1,000 foot point roundabout, then you only have 1,989 meters remaining. Now, be aware, the calculations that you get from your landing calculator, that is from the 50 feet threshold point. right? That's not the distance you spend on the runway and slow down. That is that distance there is the 50-foot point to standstill. No, that's why it shows you that from the beginning of the runway. Again, that is always 50 feet, because the authorities are saying that the landing has to be considered from the 50-foot point onwards. So that part, from 50 feet to touchdown, that is also included in those landing distance requirements. ULAs, yeah, there were a couple of times when I compared values, and again, you know, the real world values, they do differ a bit from the FENIX. Why do airliners have 2 or 3 autopilots? James, that's a very good question. It has to do with redundancy. So here the A320, we have 2 autopilot systems. 777, 747, 787 actually has 3 autopilot systems. And the reason, again, is to have a backup. And you will come across terms like fail operational and fail passive. So a fail operational system would be a system where if you have, let's say, an automatic landing, and one of the autopilot system fails, the other autopilot is able to continue and auto-land the aircraft. In that case, the aircraft would be certified as fail operational. If the aircraft has an issue with one of its autopilot systems, so i.e. only has one autopilot, or it has a system where if one autopilot fails, the other one can't land the aircraft, it will kick out the other autopilot as well, and then the aircraft is in trim, so it will continue on a stable flight path. However, it can't do the auto land. And in that case, the system's called fail passive. So the aircraft is still trimmed. It will still continue stable on a flight path towards the runway. However, there's no auto-land function anymore. So that's why you have, you know, aircraft with 2 or 3 systems installed.
Are the systems completely different from each other? Do every one of this, for example, has a own GPS receiver and own antennas and so?
Snacks and premium flight infotainment will be served.
1 second, Reynolds.
Thank you.
Yep. We have a new member, so Pilnias, I think it's how you pronounce it. So thank you so much for joining our community as a new member. Welcome. Thanks for your subscription. Much appreciated. So normally these autopilot systems would be independent. So you do have different glide slope receivers, different localizer receivers, and so on. Because otherwise you can't have an independent system status, if you like. And here on the 320, just as an example, just to clear that, you will have different antennas. Now, my memory, normally glide slope antennas should be below the aircraft, but there's definitely two separate localizer and glide slope antennas in a 320. I know that.
And GPS also?
Well, GPS is a different system. So GPS has nothing to do with normal autopilot and glide slope system.
Yeah, but for the RMP, for example, you need the GPS.
Yeah, but RMP is not autoland at the moment. So there you don't have the differentiation between fail passive and fail operational. But, Brendel, you are correct saying that if one of the system fails, so these are independent. Yes, you have 2 GPS receivers in a 320. They're independent. However, you will only couple one autopilot system to an on-off approach. And so if one GPS system fails, you could switch over to the other autopilot and still fly the RMP approach. And only if both systems fail, then you have to go visual or go around and do something else. Tail West, is that question for me? Today in the on the landing there in Horta. Yeah, James, pleasure. Yeah. Yeah, Peter as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, pleasure. For the public. Yeah, okay, there we go. So tail west in general, so let's say you have a 3,000 meter runway. So you would have a little bit of margin available to flare. My last Airbus flight was last year, August, Nicholson. Exactly, depends on the margin. So let me just... oh, it's nice, it keeps that. That's interesting. So let me just redraw that. So let's say you have your runway. Okay, runway. And here's your touchdown markers. So those solid white markers. Now we're speaking in general. They are not always located exactly, 900 or 1,000 feet. So, but let's say today those would be at 900 feet from the beginning of the runway, because normally they would be caught a 1,000 foot marker, right? So that would be 900 feet from there. Yeah, tail west. That's a good point as well, regarding those markers. So let's say a standard touchdown zone marking. So standard runway that's long enough, 3,000 meters in total length. So you have your distance markers, all right, as well. Now you're gonna have some more this side. Cool. All right, so. In a standard case, the last markings will then show you 3,000 feet. Or let's say 1,000 meters. Right. And there's airlines that have a general rule that it doesn't matter even if your runway is 10,000 meters long. All right. So let's make an example, 4,000 meters, Frankfurt. All right, so 4,000 meter Frankfurt Airport, dry runway. You've worked out you would only need 1,500 meters of that runway legally. And so you could touch down at 2,500 meters down the runway. Sorry for using different units here, but let's say 2,500 meters. So you could touch down 2.5 kilometers from the beginning of the runway, and you know that you still have enough room to legally stop the aircraft within the next 1,500 meters there. Okay? Now, however, it doesn't matter. Airlines will have rules saying that if you don't touch down within the first 3,000 feet, it doesn't matter how much margin you have to go around. It's that simple. Now, that's the ideal case. So let's say today, for example, today we have a shorter runway. So we have only 1,600 meters available in our case today. And let's just simply assume best case is a required landing distance of 1,500 meters. So we only have 100 meters stop margin. All right. And again, that calculation assumes you will touch down at 1,000 feet, so 300 meters. That means you only have 100 meters buffer in here, right? I.e., how do you judge 100 meters. Well, you could say, well, maybe it's twice the length of these touchdown zone markers, or there's a taxiway nearby, or whatever. However, today for us, we're gonna aim to touch down without crashing into the runway, obviously, but touch down on the markers. So let's say we mess up the approach and we can't touch down in the markers, we go around. Simply because the rest of the runway will not be enough to come to a stop. What if you have a thunderstorm? Where? Which position? Oh, okay. So sorry. That adds. So Dubai has a 4,000 meter runway. Let's say. What's the risk of going around against the landing if you have a thunderstorm ahead of you? Well, to be honest, Tail West, then I wouldn't do the approach. Simple as that. The thing is, what happens? So I go. If I get that question, I go, well, what do you do if you have an engine failure? All right, you get unstable. Well, what's your exit plan? Where do you go? Right. So the same with a thunderstorm. If there's a thunderstorm in the go-around path, well, would you then actually start the approach or continue the approach? So this is the thing where you can start a path going, cowboy style. Or you can say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick to my rules and stick to the procedures, even if that means that, we're potentially going to divert. But the thing is, where do you, if you start doing the things like Taylor West just described, and I know he's just asking questions, guys. I know he wouldn't do that in real life. So we talk about normal operations, right? We're not talking about engine failure stuff. We're not talking about, the urgency, you're on fire. So it's just a normal flight. Everything's working. You would, at least I would not land on a runway, right? Where my go-around path is not clear and doesn't allow me, a safe go-around. So, that question doesn't really apply to me in that sense. You stick to your helicopter, lol. Oh, Tail West, while you're here, did you see that incident in Vilnius? The 320 going off the runway into snow and slush and mud, and then actually using so much power after coming to a complete stop, and then going to so much engine power to get themselves onto the runway again. And there's a video on Aviation Herald as well. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe it. Yeah, the brown touch on the white livery, nah. No, it doesn't suit it at all, no, whatsoever. James, in which case, yeah, if you can't make a safe landing, with the conditions that we just described, yeah, you would divert, yeah. Yeah, that's true, T-Fox, yeah. Yeah, that's also true. There's there's always the definitions So high speed part and low speed part. So landing down to 60 knots, at least for us, is the high speed part. Then below 60 knots comes the low speed part. Again, there's so many different calculation stuff. No, you're joking, Nicholson. What, that incident flight in Vilnius? That was a constellation where it was a captain under upgrade training with an instructor? No way. No, this is getting worse and worse. Blimey. And let me just try to find the article. Blimey, I mean that's a story, already a bad story, going really wrong. Let me just show you guys some screenshots. Where is it? Let me just find it. Screenshot. There we go. So in case you haven't followed it, that's the aircraft. So that's the moment when they had the excursion. And so they came to a complete stop outside of the runway, and then they used a lot of thrust to come back onto the runway. And there's also a picture of the damage, and this is something. Let me just have a look here. So, yeah, that's the undercarriage there. Look at the damage that excursion has had, and on top of that, all of the FOD that was sucked into the engine, getting the aircraft out. They even retracted the flaps. Now, I don't read anything regarding, the constellation of the pilot, so I'm going to have to put that back until we get some official stuff from the authorities. The A320 Targa. Lol, yeah, I mean. Yeah, Mauritius, yeah, in Vilnius, yeah, exactly. A 4x4 A320, yeah. So, just like I said at the beginning of my stream, when the first question came up, an aircraft can go off the runway for different reasons. So, the criticism is not that they went off the runway for now, until the authorities say different. But, that can happen, right? Brake failures, flight control issues. The aircraft, can potentially go off the runway. That's one thing. But, when you come to a complete stop, you set the parking brake, maybe get your cabin into attention, shut down the engines, evaluate the situation, is there a need for evacuation, yes or no? And then you call for the fire brigade, let them check the aircraft, see if there's any fluids leaking out, fuel, hydraulic, whatever, or if there's any fire. And then you have, passengers disembark. And after passengers disembarked, you get a tow truck and then pull the aircraft from the mud, right? That would be the normal thing to do. But to have the mindset to use engine thrust to get you back from the mud onto the runway, I don't know. That's something beyond me.
Maybe the pilot has flown too much MSFS.
I don't know, but you do sometimes wonder. what's going on there.
Which airline was this?
Hang on. What does it say? It says that's why it's a white livery.
Okay.
It was a wet lease company called Avion Express. Thank you, guys. So it's Avion Express. It's a wet lease company, and they were doing a flight for, was it Eurowings? What's X9 for flight number? X9. A mud lease company. God, the jokes are getting bad now.
For that reason, I'm not a big fan of this wet lease things there. I'm, for example, I am booking for good reason my seat for Lufthansa maybe, and then I have to embark in a wet lease, never known before airline aircraft. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, because that is, I mean, like, you know, you order a Mercedes and you get a Volvo. Oh, well, that's not actually that bad, but I mean, let's say you get a Lada or you know,
can happen.
Yeah, so you know, it's like you'd feel ripped off, right? So I see it the same way. And of course, you know, the airlines will usually say, well, you know, look at your ticket. You know, when you book, it will say what airline is actually conducting the flight. So for me, just an example, for me, I flew back from Zurich to Bremen, and I booked it through Swiss Airlines, but immediately I could see that the return flight was done by Air Baltic.
Okay.
So I agree with Tail West. It depends, of course, on the safety culture of the wet lease company. However, here's the thing. Can you expect from the general public to understand and know the background of all these different companies? So can you expect a normal person to know, you know, where does Air Baltic come from? What's their safety record? So, you know, is it expected of them to actually do the research? So in my opinion, no, it's not their responsibility. So yeah, it all comes down to then trusting, you know, the main company that you book with, that they've done the assessments for you, and that they will only hire companies that pass their safety assessment. And I know that big airlines, they have their own internal safety assessment, and so you know, from the main airlines, I would not be worried, you know, getting an aircraft that is wet leased for them. But I agree, if you expect, you know, a booking with a major airline, let's say, or certainly your favorite airline, I understand people being disappointed if it's suddenly a different airline then. Yeah.
Yeah, I booked for a good reason the other airline, which is more expensive, because I want to have better comfort and I want to have a higher safety standard, and then I'm come to the airport and there is a cheaper airline with less comfort and less safety.
No.
That's not nice for me.
No. And I mean, I guess you could go then to the airline and say, hey, you know what, I didn't book this, I don't want to fly with them, rebook me to a different one. Well, yeah, I mean, they would probably rebook you without charge.
They simply say, no, we have no other flight available. You have to wait a week or so, but you can't.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen, but I don't know. I've never tried it, so.
No.
Bruno says he flew Lisbon-Stockholm, TAP operated by SmartLinks. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, okay, so for the higher price tickets, I mean, yeah. But again, it's up to the airline to make sure that, you know, the wet lease company lives up to their standards. And normally, for catering, for example, you will have the original catering. So normally that's also the case. Yeah, the Lada Niva is the best off-roader. Probably is. I don't know. I don't know much about cars, but it could be.
But I have to say, Air Baltic is not that bad airline.
No, it's good.
I've seen a lot of videos from there, and their flight schools and so, and I think they have a good safety standard.
I could say from the cabin point of view, the service was excellent. Because I flew, like I said, I flew them from Zurich to Bremen, and that was really good. Big thumbs up for them. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I did a safe landing. In a few seconds, the runway is clear.
Okay. GG's.
How many runway left?
I didn't measure.
You should have got it out.
Was it only a few, or was it plenty of?
It was enough. It was enough.
Yeah. Okay.
But the runway isn't plain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have the payware add-on?
No, default. Yeah.
Okay, default.
For me, the same. Blackbox, do you have a payware?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it from Obix. Oh yeah, so Air Baltic. I know they fly the A320 to Dubai, I think, right? Yeah. So I was surprised how long they can fly.
But with fuel stop, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, then that explains it.
But I don't know. We just will only guess.
Yeah, but A320, lovely aircraft, unless you're on the ground and the hat from the ground worker gets sucked into the cooling fan or the cooling system of the electronic compartment. Tail West, did you hear that? Did you still have the sound clip? Oh, then let me check. That was hilarious. But GG for the pilot. Hold on. No, that's a different one. Hang on. That's not it. I don't know if I still have it here. Last one. No, but I can tell you that what happened. Well, I was flying as a passenger from Bremen to Zurich, and there was an A320 Swiss aircraft, and I noticed that there was no air conditioning on, and that actually had a good reason, and that was that the APU was actually inop, and so at some point the whole aircraft went dark. No, it was just immersed electricity. And then after a few minutes, they got electric power back on. And another couple of minutes later, the captain came onto the interphone and said, I'm sorry to have to say that our departure will be delayed because I've just been informed that a hat of one of the ground workers got sucked into the how come that doesn't work anymore? Hold on. Oh, there we go. So let me just dial down the sim sound a bit. So there we go. So you can see here on the outside you have a air inlet valve on one side, and on the other side you have an exhaust valve, and that is for the cooling system of the electronic compartment. Now on the ground, normally, at least when it's warmer than 7 degrees Celsius on the A320, that is open, and the suction is fairly strong in that part. And you can imagine on the A220, that is even lower to the ground because the aircraft is a little bit smaller. And so I would imagine it was like a wool hat or something because it was cold outside. And so one of the ramp workers walked past the inlet, and his hat was sucked into that system. And so I said to my wife, okay, this could be potentially meaning that we're not going to depart today. this, because I knew that they wouldn't have mechanics here at Bremen Airport to work on that. And so the captain said, well, I have to go outside now, and I have to try to get the hat out of the vent system myself. And so he went out, and about 10 minutes later came back in, and he had his phone, where he was talking into the phone, talking to his company, and shaking his head. And I was like, okay, that's it. We're not going to depart. But then, amazingly, he made an announcement saying, okay, good news. I was able to catch and fetch the hat out of that system again, out of the duct. And so we were able to depart. So I think he probably meant that you know, he just couldn't believe it. It's one of those stories, right, where you just you know, you look back, like my pen story. Yeah, exactly, like the pen story. You just look back and say, okay, you know, that's just so silly. Nobody believes you. But yeah, that happened. So GG's. No, so what you need to do here, so the virtual first officer here doesn't enter any data for the destination. No, that does not work, no. So let me go ahead and, actually let's do it this way. Well, we can't fetch the weather this way, airports. So we don't have any landing charts, but we have the weather. 23013. Light rain, 9,000 meters visibility, scattered 800, scattered 1,200. So we should be able to see the runway, no problem.
The weather's pretty bad. I'm actually on 2,000 feet and I can't see nothing.
Yeah, I would expect maybe 1,200 feet above the ground. We should be hopefully seeing something. Yeah, Bob, that's actually not bad. Because that's drawing with the mouse pointer. So give me credit for that, please.
Now that's how pros do it.
I'm telling you. So 230 at 13. Minimum. I'm going to take the 660 feet minimum here. Clip it and ship it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that entry, Tay West, that must have been quite funny. So if he did like a short version, like all right, a hat from ground worker got sucked into the electronic compartment. Captain managed to get it out myself, or managed to get it out myself. Problem solved. GG.
Maybe when you retire Black Box, you need to write a book of all that interesting events what you have had in your life.
I don't know. I'm personally not really that talented rhetorically to write a book, but I think I have enough stories to tell.
Maybe your wife can write and you tell her the stories.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm going to try and find out if there's someone maybe professional something who would be able to do that.
A ghostwriter.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, ghostwriter, exactly. Oh, the entry. So there's some funny entries in tech logs sometimes. Yeah, like autoland system on this aircraft very rough, and technician writes it up and says this aircraft has no autoland system, or aircraft is making funny sounds. Sounds like little man with a hammer, and so the technician says, okay, little man with hammer was found and removed. Oh, I love that.
Have you ever had ground workers repairing your aircraft with the high-speed tape?
Yep.
Oh, really? That's an interesting for all the passengers when they see the plane got repaired with this tape.
The thing is, this is one of those little things when you're a captain. That hang on, just let me see. I need to descend. That's one of the things being a captain that sometimes gives you headaches. So I actually had the problem, and there's a video or pictures from a 320 EasyJet where you see a technician put high-speed tape around the engine cowl here, between the metal part and the rest here, and it looks like he's trying to fix the front part to the engine by using, you know, tape. Now, again, it's one of those topics where you can't expect passengers to understand, you know, the technical backgrounds behind that sort of stuff, right? So, of course, the cowling is secured to the rest of the engine inlet here. So that part that is heated, that is, you know, solidly attached to the rest of the engine, right? It can't fall off, right? It's got enough screws and you name it, you know, to fix it. It can't fall off. But of course, if you start using high-speed tape around the engine part here, then yeah, you would come to the conclusion they're trying to fix that with high-speed tape or with tape. But no, there's a different reason behind that, and that is sometimes after a certain time the paint strips off because that part, as you can imagine, is subjected to the slipstream, and after a while the paint can flake off at this part. Now the problem is this is quite often made by synthetic material, so lightweight material, composite material, which doesn't really like exactly, it's either duct tape or WD-40, yeah, exactly. But it doesn't like moisture to get into the main part of that composite material. So what they try to do to prevent damage to the cowling itself is to put high-speed tape around that area to seal off the paint. So that's the technical background behind that. But it doesn't matter. If a passenger sees a technician put high-speed tape around the cowling there, they will think all kinds of stuff. And, you know, they could potentially be really worried and maybe not want to go onto the aircraft and fly. And so I actually had this happen. I was at the gate, and luckily though, it was left side, and the jetway blocked the view from the terminal to the engine. And so the technician came and said, well, he has to get high-speed tape, and he has to put the high-speed tape around it. And I said, okay, how long are you going to need for that? And he said, well, you know, 15 minutes once I have the tape. And I said, okay, so I'll delay boarding until you're finished. He kind of gave me that strange look like, you know, why? You know, why make such a big deal out of it? And I thought, well, because I'm going to have the passengers on board who are going to film it, make photographs, post it on Instagram and TikTok and you name it, and I'm going to be the one having to explain. Oh, okay, disregard. Don't worry. It's just my headset has disconnected. Just gonna have to get the other one. Hold on, give me a second. I just thought the SIM crashed, but luckily it's just the headset. It does that from time to time. Let me fix that. There we go. So now we're back. Actually, I can dial up the sounds again, can't I? Yeah. Yeah. So I delayed boarding. And so people came on board, and they probably noticed the silvery, shiny tape between the engine inlet and the rest. However, nobody asked, so nobody was worried, and so I didn't have to make any explanation about it, right? Yeah, so that's the technical background behind that tape around the. Yeah, but these are the kind of, you know, daily or day-to-day decisions that you're confronted with sometimes, and there's you know, there's more ways of solving an issue like that, and each captain will do it his own way. Outstar, let's continue our descent. I think it was like 10,000 feet, so we'll go level 100. Okay, guys, I need to prepare for the approach, so we still got thrust idle descent out blue 100. Minimums is going to be 660, so that's for the RMP 0.3. Yeah, we've got to talk. We were going to talk radius to fix, right? So very quickly. No, we'll do that after landing. I'll get a bit of time after landing, guys. Radius to fix. I did bring out a video today on YouTube about this topic. It's a short one. I didn't go into full technical explanations there, but it gives you a little bit of an idea what radius to fix means. You can save that link for later if you like. And yeah, and that's why I chose the FENIX today. The fly-by-wire actually does that also very nicely. And so sometimes you get to the section here and it says, you know, requirements. It's an RMP AR approach, so authorization required approach. And one of the aspects is it needs RF, so radius to fix capability. And I did make one little slide that kind of shows you a little bit more in a graphical sense how that is shown. So here you can see a circle with a center point, and that part here, so from Hotel Romeo 436 to Hotel Romeo 434, is a radius to fix, although I think officially it's the thicker marked path here, that's an RF segment. However, it's a segment that has to be flown exactly, meaning you can't shortcut, so you can't go from this waypoint direct to this waypoint, because it will bring you outside of the protected airspace that is left and right of the center line of that drawn path. Hey, Captain Banana. So, it's one of those requirements for the aircraft and for the certification process. Yeah, so the thick part is the final segment on Jefferson. Okay, but yeah, you can see it's how that's kind of, you know, done. You have a circle midpoint, and that's an 8-mile radius here today, and that's the curved radius fix segment, and here as well. So you want the aircraft to be able to fly that, and the FENIX does that, and the fly-by-wire does it, for example, but the PMG doesn't. And the PMG actually has a quite nasty thing where it shortcuts this segment. So it's a direct line that it does, and it draws and it follows. Since you're over water today, that's not really a big issue, but you know, if it were over land in a valley, because these curves are quite often in valleys, and then you can't shortcut because you get outside the protected airspace. IF means initial fix. So initial fix and initial approach fix, or final approach point. It's already slowing down. I have to hurry up, man. I have to hurry up. Let's do the preparations here. So that's done. That's done. More drag. Fine with that. So we could descending now 5,000. So we're going to go 5,000. Open descent with speed brakes. I'm going to try to get down here. 230. There we go. So then I need to program. Are you ready for the approach brief?
Black box, I did a go around.
Okay, no worries. And
no
why?
chance for me to land. Yeah, I came way too high. Got the updraft,
Okay.
and with the short runway and wet runway, there was no chance to break it. So I did a go around, and now I try again without weather.
Okay. 60. Height is 600 roundabout. Are you ready for the approach brief? Hello. Hello. Talk to me. Are you ready for the approach briefing? So you have control.
You have control.
Are you ready for the approach briefing? Any questions?
No questions.
Good, so we're going to fly the approach as shown here on the path. We'll follow that path exactly. Find the centers out of 1500, 3-degree profile down to a minimum of 660. RMP required is 0.3. Misapproach the path up to only 2,100 feet. Currently, we have a remaining fuel of 3.5. Min diversion to Ponta Delgada is 2.3, so 2.4. So we would have about a ton extra, so enough for a second approach if needed. Yeah, touchdown is touchdown zone. If not, we'll go around. And apart from that, yeah, we'll use max manual braking after touchdown as well. Max reverse if possible. Cool. So let's go down and have a look. Connections 1017. Bring back Luigi. Yeah, I know, right?
1017 set passing 6,000 100. Now
checked. Approach checklist.
Barrow ref
1017 set.
1017 set. Seatbelts
On.
minimum.
Barrow 660 feet. Set and checked.
Auto brake.
Medium set. Medium armed.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist completed.
So we've got 17 degrees TAT total air temperature, so no need for engine anti-ice. Checking the GPS availability, both sides, accuracy is high, and currently 0.03 nautical miles, so everything within limits. Now, it's fortunate today. Oh, hang on, we got a little bit of visuals. It has a huge volcano on the island, 3,000 meters. Yeah, we're going to switch to sunny skies after landing, or after we've finished the flight. Because it is... oh, there we go. You can see a little bit of that crater. Oh, that's not the 3,000. That's the other one. Oh, okay. Because that's pretty as well here. I was just wondering. That doesn't look like 3,000 meters. Oh, there we go. Okay, so... Again, we're now entering that that RF segment, radius to fixed segment, and you will see the aircraft do a continuous bank turn. So it doesn't do like the PNG, overfly, bank, and then head to the next waypoint, wings level. No, this is actually a continuous turn.
Radar altimeter alive.
Checked. And so what it does, flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
So what it does is that it will vary the bank angle depending on the air speed, the ground speed, so the wind situation, to stay exactly on that path. And again, it can go up to 30 degree. Oh, sorry, 25 is calculated, but of course it will go up to 30-degree bank if needed to stay on that that path. Let's activate the approach phase. Speed is going managed. Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Brenold, are you doing a second approach or what's your plan?
Yeah, I'm on short final actually.
Okay, cool. Gear down.
Gear down.
I love how it says 170 something knots because of that wind for the managed, but we'll do that selected now. 160 knots. Trying to slow down here. Help the aircraft with that. The FO. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know. Apparently it's a WASM module where it sticks sometimes, and yeah, the first officer responds a bit late. But anyway, she's awake, so all good. Let's get some lights on here. So around the corner we go. There's the island. So I have a good excuse today for a little bit more solid touchdown. I'm not going to try to crash the aircraft onto the runway, but we're going to try to hit the touchdown zone markers. And if we flare for too long, we'll go around.
Great braking, Renewed.
Yes, there was no problem. With the dry runway, I braked it. I did it to the exit. Didn't need the full runway.
Bruno, no, it's just a bit dark. That's why. It's not enough. Early, yeah, I agree. The extension was a bit early, but we're already fairly low down, and I kind of misjudged that turn. It's still 5 miles from the final approach point, but yeah. So I'm wasting a little bit more fuel than required. No, Mighty Morph, it means the whole approach is calculated and authorized with a certain corridor that gives you obstacle clearance. If you deviate from an IFR standard procedure, you lose your obstacle clearance. So you have to stick with that. And so that's why if you go directly from one waypoint to the next, and I've shown that on my video, then you will deviate by more than 0.3 nautical miles. So that's why then you are outside of that protected airspace. Minus 122, Nige. I don't know about that. I honestly don't know. Right, we're going to go ahead and press approach button now. So approach nav, final blue. I appreciate your confidence, Nige, but today, I don't know. But quite honestly, funnily enough, in real life that happens as well. So the most challenging landings actually get you then, onto full concentration, and that means that the landings are usually quite good. So you can see the aircraft flies exactly on that programmed path. And it has about a 7-degree bank angle. Very nicely. Flaps full.
Speed checked. Flaps full.
Landing checklist.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist completed.
Thank you. I'm going to set missed approach 2,100. It's a very low missed approach altitude, isn't it? Right, here comes VDEF, deviation pointer. Yeah, 2,100, very low. Final approach. Missed approach altitude is set. We still have good accuracy. All fine, and there's the runway. Manual thrust. Manual flight. So we have at the moment still quite a lot of crosswind as well. And yes, in reality, you would not land here on this runway now.
1,000.
It's checked. And but again, we just wanted to demonstrate that beautiful approach. 1,000 is checked. But I tell you what I'll do. We will go around and fly the approach in the opposite direction because we have 8 knots tailwind right now.
100 above.
Unless
100 above.
Well, that's having a fit here. Unless the wind changes to a point. Continue.
Minimums.
Continue.
Sync rate.
Checked. Correcting. Flight directors off. I could have told her that actually, but on. Now we still have too much tailwind still.
400.
Well.
200.
Right. Go around. Flaps.
Check.
100.
Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Mantoga, SRS, NAF. Autothrust blue.
Checked.
Autopilot 1. Thrust climb, open climb, out blue. Out star. Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Flaps 0.
Speed checked. Flaps 0.
Oh, now I get it, Bruno. That's the volcano you mean. Oh yeah, that is a big volcano. Blimey.
Good night, Black Box.
Voyager, mach nix. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the other runway. And there's also a nice approach here. So let me have a look. And so we'll swing around. I'm going to do the... It's has an arm of Yankee. That looks nice. The Yankee or a Zulu? What's a Zulu like? No. So we'll take the Yankee from this side. Minimum is going to be 750. So let me change that here as well. 750.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box
630.
Duo Channel experience. Could
Hey,
new
Torst,
subscribers
Rodriguez,
please make
vielen
their
Dank.
way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight infotainment will be served. Thank you.
Torsport, vielen Dank. Thanks so much for 8 months. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and change the runway. We're going to take runway 28 with the Yankee 28, and we'll go via. How about 540 there? That looks good. That gives us a bit of time to prepare. So we're going to go approach via 540, and then. Put that in there. Yeah, so I'm just going to go heading here. Heading select 195. And there we've got to be how high? No, we can stay here 2,100. That's fine. Excellent. Now normally, let's try that. Set manage speed. Hey Jan, guten Abend, wie geht's? to the left here. Down them right a little bit. Wow, the weather is bad. So fuel check 2.9. 2.3 is min diversion, so we're still good. And Ponta Delgada, and I normally would check the weather as well for Ponta Delgada. Just make sure we have a valid alternate airport available. Yeah, that is good. Fantastic. So all fine. And that's still the same. 230, and the minimum here is going to be 750. Norwegian cavalcade. Lol, never heard that one before. So we'll leave the rest as is. However, we've got to do some calculations now. I would assume we would need a little bit less landing distance required because we're going to have a little bit of headwind here. So we'll do that. Runway is wet. Okay, so normally, yeah, okay. But we know it's very, very tight, okay? So leave that. Approach checklist.
Barrow ref.
1017 set.
1017 set. Seatbelts.
On.
Minimum.
750 feet set.
Auto brake.
Medium armed.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist completed.
Yep. Yeah, heavy workload. I mean, that's the thing with, you know, flying single pilot concept here in the sims. Yeah, so is to be expected in these situations. Good briefing. So this time a RP Yankee 28. Again, it has a radius to fix segment. That's this one here. That's interesting for us. And then 1500, final approach point is 508. 3-degree profile down. We'll fly at final approach again. Missed approach, waypoints up to 2,100 feet again. And then we've got to go to Ponta Delgada. So if we go around again, immediate diversion to Ponta Delgada. Hey, Joven, how you doing? From Singapore. Nice. Okay, hey, all the best wishes for that. Yeah, Singapore Airlines is a very nice airline. I actually applied to Singapore Airlines as well, a long time ago. But they wanted 1,500 hours jet.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Right, disregard. Normally that would not be disregard. Usually the only instance you're not allowed to ignore that would be VMC daytime.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
So let's say we are VMC
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
daytime. But yeah, that is a little bit inaccurate. It shouldn't already call the terrain. Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Wow, but that is a huge volcano there. Look at that. Whew. Scooters plan B. Okay, all the best wishes. I've got some rain showers up ahead. Ah, yuck. So just preparing for the diversion. Initial course is going to be 114 degrees. So left out missed approach. And then who knows? Who knows where we're going to end up? Going to try our best here to get down, but not going to force anything. Same thing, touchdown zone or go around. One of those. Do you think you will ever forget some of the Airbus procedures? I have already forgotten some. So yes, definitely. I have definitely forgotten some procedures already. That's just the way it is. Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
So let's descend down to 1,500 feet slowly. Actually, I want to wait. Well, it says 1,500 above, but I don't need to dive down just yet. There's the final approach point. Brennelt, how was your landing?
Yeah, I was quite happy.
Okay, good.
I have 248 feet per minute and I braked until the exit. I didn't need to backtrack.
Cool.
But like I said, it was without wind now.
Okay.
This was way too much crosswind and tailwind for me to land.
Yeah, that's true. Alt star. Yeah, it's horrible weather today here. Yesterday was better. So, I'm going to wait with the approach mode until we're inbound to the final approach point. 1500 feet is correct. Do you think you'd fly the... No, James, because I'm now rated on the 787, and that was my last rating that I've done. This is also something I really enjoy in Microsoft Flight Sim, the showers. So there we go. Now we are ready for the approach. NAV, final blue. Gear down. Oops. Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3. There's the runway. Wow, what a beautiful approach.
Speed
Terrain
check.
ahead.
Oh,
Flaps
Pull
3.
up.
disregard.
Terrain ahead.
Flaps full.
Pull up.
Speed checked. Flaps full.
Flocksap, you have two good friends that are
Terrain
FOs on
ahead.
tap. Nice.
Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up.
It's not unusual at this point
Terrain
not...
ahead.
Oh,
Pull up.
please, will you...
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
The landing checklist then comes in for the second approach quite often at 800 feet. There's the runway. And then missed approach again is going to be 2,100. So missed approach altitude 2,100 is set. Gusty winds at Mediera. Speed final approach.
$1,000.
Checked. And no thrust. Checked.
above.
100 above.
Landing checklist.
ECAM memo.
Minimum.
Landing no blue.
Minimums. Landing checklist completed.
Continue. Both flight directors off, bird on. Both flight directors off, bird on. Oh, it doesn't make sense.
$200. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard.
Spoilers, reverse green.
Spoilers. Reverse
Decel.
green. Decel.
Manual braking. So max manual braking now, and you can see we come to a stop
70 knots.
really quickly. So still plenty of runway. So I mean, the flight sim usually isn't that accurate either, but there we go. What do you mean? Hang on, that's 313. That was not bad. No, don't take that. We're going to take this one. Look, this is much more accurate. 313. Don't complain. Yeah, right. No. You can't go and take the most negative every time. We've decided that this is the better landing rate indicator.
I need this tool as well because it shows a better landing rate.
Yeah. I know you guys are just trying to meme me now because we know that there's always a lag in the time when that indicator then changes to the correct vertical speed. This is a much more accurate value. The good thing is I programmed this so the worst landing rate is 315 feet per minute, you see. Oh, and I did switch off the replay recording because I had an issue the last 2 times that I get on touchdown, I get a huge lag because it's trying to save that point where you touch down. And I hate that. I hate the lag at touchdown. So no, so brake fans would normally be switched on 3 minutes after landing earliest, because you want to have the brake disc stabilize with the temperatures. I can explain that to you in a second as well. So let's see, GSX. How about GSX? So let's try GSX. So this, which parking spot is this? Ground charts. I'm happy with that landing. I'm not gonna, lie. The landing was good. That's number 3. I'm gonna sleep well tonight. What on earth? Huh? Okay. You did, Captain Kojak? You predicted 3 into 14? GG, give a round of applause for that. So I'm not sure if Brennelt is parked here still, but yeah, whoever's here, sorry, I'm going to have to clip your wing there.
I think I'm displaying what you are looking at.
Okay. But you said you're flying a 737, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
But I don't know if you have a 737-600 model.
Okay. Could be. After landing checklist.
Radar and predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist completed.
I have no idea where I am in relation to that. Actually, not bad. Not bad, I would say. The A320 is a white A320, watch out, yeah. And I checked, no brown markings, so Brennell did not go off the runway, so... James, dankeschön.
No, I was not off the runway.
No.
I was centerline and braked.
Yeah, no, that's a joke from Vilnius.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let's try to line up with that, and then... I'm gonna try. Yeah. I see you. Don't worry, I'm gonna stop here. Oh, blimey. Cabin crew, all doors and park. So let's shut down engine. So what's the trigger? Normally she would put on the APU bleed. Shutdown too, didn't it?
Beacon off, maybe.
Let's try that, yeah. Oh, now she's happy. Okay, we didn't move, but now she's happy. Press deboarding. All right, we'll do that. Oops, we'll do that ourselves then. There we go.
And Gilende is in the approach.
Okay, let's have a look. Thank you for the tip.
I think he needs 3-4 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have a look for the landing then.
Yeah.
Parking checklist.
Parking brake or chocks.
Set.
Engines.
Off.
Wing lights.
Off.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking checklist completed.
Thank you. That's an interesting parking spot. I forgot now. What it was I was supposed to show you guys after landing? No, we did talk about the radius to fix, right? And oh yeah, I was going to switch shortly to beautiful weather. Look at that rain shower there, blimey. So a few clouds. But Bruno, thank you so much for the suggestion here to come to Horta.
Is this the main airport of the Azores, or is there another one, a bigger one?
I think it's Ponta Delgada. I think that's the bigger one.
I saw Ponta Delgada is military, right?
Or maybe joined?
I don't know.
So Gilende is saying he's already low on fuel because he did 2 go runs already.
Oh, okay. Then nail it now.
Mm-hmm. No pressure. And only a few people watching.
Only 173.
So Ponta Delgada, and what's Lima Alpha? So Lima Alpha is Papa Lima Alpha is military, and but Ponta Delgada is civil.
The military one is that the airport where the aircraft landed, which had a completely fuel lost, I think, over the ocean, right?
Was it really?
Transat or so, was it?
Wow, okay, that was...
Was a glide approach, was it into Ponta Delgada?
Okay, well, GG's. I mean, amazing that they made it.
Yeah, that was really amazing.
So look at the beautiful volcano. That looks absolutely amazing. What's me want to go there? And is that Papa Lima Alpha there, Bruno? Looks like it.
No, that's a different one.
Okay. And then there's some interesting rock formations here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flockzap, that's the thing with fuel leaks. You've got to be so careful to analyze. And I think they had the issue that there was already a history with fuel pumps or with fuel system. And so they kind of misjudged the whole situation. And then, yeah, they did fuel transfer and then lost the good fuel as well, yeah. Laches, yeah. Laches, that's the one. Yeah, Laches. There we go. Thank you. So, Gilend, here he comes. Keeping fingers crossed. Yeah, the rocky shores there looks brilliant, right? That's a nice view here. You can see the undulation of the runway. Oh, Lima Papa Charlie Romeo. Is there a scenery available, Bruno? Good luck. We're all counting on you. No pressure. The AIFO is called Flight FS2. Sorry, not Flight, FS2 Crew, Virtual Co-Pilot or Virtual First Officer. There's the landing gear. I know it was out before. And... All right, that looked good.
Down.
Yes, GG's. Big round of applause for that.
Very good.
Well done. And the landing rate looked fairly good as well.
Late breaking.
So yeah, FS2 crew. If you...
That's how pros do it.
Exactly. So if you Google that, you'll get to the website, and it's a virtual first officer version. So, but you have to have the basic version as well before you take notes on that landing. What you mean? My landing was good. I'm happy with my landing. That was a safe landing. Exactly what the situation required.
And remember, guys, he is not a rated A320 pilot.
Anymore. Exactly.
Anymore.
So I have two good excuses.
Yeah. You can try the 787 here.
Exactly. Hobby 320 pilot. So, so Bruno said... let me just check. Lima, Papa, Charlie something. Charlie Romeo. Okay, let's have a look. Lima, Papa, Charlie Romeo. Corvo. Corvo, I wonder. Yeah, right. I mean, like 600 meters. 760 meters. What plane flies there?
A Dash 8 Q200.
Yeah.
Maybe.
A Dash. A Twatter, yeah. Twatter would do that as well, right? Test pilot braking, yeah. Yeah, it looks interesting, yeah, no doubt. It looks interesting. It could be good for a VFA flight or something at some point. So, okay, so brake fans, let's have a look. Okay, so now normally what we would do, we'd look at the brake temperatures, and if they're above 300 degrees Celsius, we would actually get a message as well regarding brake fans, but they're like 215. Realistic or not, right now, it would not be needed. Oh yeah, so no, you meant okay. So yeah. Okay, so the thing with the brakes itself, why we wait 3 minutes. So if you look at how the wheels are built, or the brakes are built, you have multiple layers. I don't know if you can see that, but you have multiple layers of brake discs there, right? So if you have your brake system, I'm trying to get those correct. So you have your brake discs with the pistons on the outside. So you apply hydraulic pressure, and that pushes those brake discs together or against their brackets where they create friction. Now, so the temperature sensors do not take the temperature from the inner part of the brake system. So you have to wait before you switch on the brake fans, which draw in air and put it through the brake system. You have to wait until the temperature equalizes from the brake discs all the way through evenly. Because if you apply the brake fans too early, you're going to have a hotter part on the inside compared to the outer part. And we know what happens to metal when you have different temperatures. It starts to bend. So you have a cold side and a warm side, and that's when the brake discs start to bend. And so that's why, or warps, yeah. So that's why you wait 3 minutes. You give the whole system time to have an equalization of the temperatures throughout the brake discs. So that's the rule. The only time you would deviate from that rule is if the temperature goes above 500 degrees Celsius, you know, in a very short time span, then you disregard that issue and just put on the brake fans. So for example, on an RTO, I mean, after an RTO, high-speed RTO, the brake fan or brake discs are pretty much ruined anyway, so it doesn't matter. You put on the brake fans to make sure they don't catch fire, or they don't, you know, they don't deflate the tires and so on. Bruno's got a nice video. Lord, actually, you know what, Bruno? Initially, I thought you're sending me a picture of Microsoft Flight Sim. That looks like. So that's Lima, Papa, Charlie, Romeo. Okay. Oh, okay, that is a dash something. Yeah, the windsock, right? Just a little bit of crosswind. Good night, Bob. Thank you so much. Take care, stay safe. Yeah, and I hope somehow you're going to be able to fly the 747 still. Oh my God! Oh. Could you see the passengers screaming? Oh, that's a long flare.
You could try this with the ATR backbox.
Is that really working with the ATR?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I did 2 or 3 flights and it was okay.
Wow, but that was... So imagine he flared. I don't know where his touchdown kind of endpoint was that he set for himself, but he flared fairly long.
Yeah, the wind was crazy there.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, very spicy. Actually, I have a bit of time now, so what's the aircraft called? Is it available on the marketplace or something?
Yeah, it is the ATR 42 or 76. You get both with one buying.
Okay, and you guys think it's a good one? Is it worth the money?
I think it's not a great one, but it's a good one.
Okay. What I like about the
it is payware, yes,
okay.
but it's not expensive.
What I like with SmartCast 3 is that it files a PIREP automatically, so don't forget.
You can configure that however you like.
Yeah, I do like that because I usually forget. I go you know, to the next flight or something.
But you need to switch off the engines for filing the PIREP.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, but
some people, when they do GA flying, for example, and they do multiple legs, then they don't switch off the engines.
Okay. So these are liveries. Oh, there we go. So that's the one, right? Is that the one? Oh, hang on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Are you sure? It's only $12.99.
Yeah. It is. It is on sale. You can see, and it was not an expensive one. This is the one I have.
Okay. Well, okay, I'll get it then, and then so yeah, challenge accepted. But we'll do that in a group flight, all right? Because if you have that as well,
yeah, we can do it. I have to relearn this aircraft again,
yeah,
but
okay.
it's not difficult. It's okay.
Okay, so for the next stream. Yeah, get ready for the next stream. If you got time, of course. I mean, we'll talk and see if you've got time. And
yeah.
So planning the next stream is... oh, yeah, Brennan needs to do a Source Island tour. Yeah, that's true.
What do they need?
A Source
Island tour. Yeah, I could do, but...
Yeah, challenge for you. You see? So let's do a quick look. Stream schedule. So I'm planning right now to the next stream on Thursday, but depending on how I feel Wednesday, maybe a short-term stream as well. So, but Thursday definitely 1600 UTC, maybe Wednesday. Okay, just saying, maybe. Stay tuned. I will now set on Discord. Nice. Cool. My dear friends, thank you so much for flying along. As always, lots of people that joined today. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the challenge today. Very spicy weather there. I will hand you over now to Two-Tone Murphy. Lovely chap. Very entertaining as well. And then I will see you again very soon. My dear moderators, as always, thank you so much for your help, for being here. So did I get that right? No, hang on. Hold on. Two-Tone Murphy.
Captain, thanks for today's lesson.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jeremiah. Thanks for flying along. And it's a bit earlier today as well. It's not quite so late.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah.
Not bad. Fine.
Good night, Jeremiah.
Good night.
Good night.
So Two-Tone Murphy. Let's see if I can get it right this time. Two-Tone Murphy. Oh, there we go. Already got it. Okay. So guys, thank you so much. So let's go over and raid. Once again, thank you so much. See you again very soon, guys. Good night.